All right, guys, sorry about that. Running about 10 minutes late this morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. It is Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. Literally at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I set up for my daily video, have the streaming with OBS linked up to YouTube. Computer absolutely freezes. I've had this iMac now, I believe this is 2018. This is the 2017 iMac, the all-in-one, and I have a couple of extra screens. It's been great for that many years. I mean, the one thing I don't do is shut it down. I have to start shutting that down over the weekend to give it at least a little bit of a cycle here and there. But either way, I digress. Good morning, everybody. Sorry about the delay. We're going to kind of condense it this morning. I won't go around the horn through everything, but I'll go over the stuff that probably is the most important to you. Dow futures up 162 points this morning. The Nasdaq's up 72. Earlier this morning, I did see it was up about triple digits and then pulled back slightly. We are hitting some kind of resistance. I'm going to go and talk about that here in a bit. S&P 500 futures up 0.52% this morning. That's at 42.63. I want to make sure if we're above that 200-day moving average on S&P futures, and we are. Still hovering around that 200-day. Kind of the same thing I said yesterday. As long as we can make it out of October above that 200-day, that's the key. And I think this week is going to be very telling. I think this week is probably the make or break week. I don't know if I said that yesterday. I may have said it to the staff, but not to you guys here. Make or break because you have so much earnings coming. So we're really going to get the pulse of the consumer. We had Sherwin-Williams report today. They beat. We had Spotify. They beat as well. We also had Coca-Cola. General Motors just said that they don't see any softening in consumer demand. Sherwin-Williams is kind of important because that is housing spending. People probably not selling their house. They're probably just working on their current home. So keep an eye on Home Depot, Lowe's. That might be a little bit of a leading indicator. We'll see. But again, important to see that the consumer is still strong. We don't think that we're going to get another interest rate hike in November. I think traders are now kind of trading the number now as that. I think it was 0% or 0.5% of a hike in November. So again, that's the Fed fund futures. So that's, you can trade contracts on almost anything these days. That's the derivative world for you. 4.855% on a 10-year, bouncing slightly. The Russell's up 0.85%. Again, we want to see small caps lead. We want this market move higher to be expansive. We don't want just the same elite eight or the magnificent eight, the mega cap techs running the show. And yesterday they did. The Nasdaq was green yesterday, but the S&P was red. Dow was red. Banks fell too. So we can't celebrate too much as of yet. Again, we want an expansive thrust of higher stock prices throughout all sectors, not just one. The dollar index is up today. Interesting that stocks are up as well, 106.03. Remember, on Friday, dollar was red, yields were down. You also had the VIX down, and stocks were red as well. Pretty much throw the baby out the bathwater, right? The VIX down 3.39%, right below that 20 level. That's the level that we're watching. Crude oil is red as well, 85.31. Gold futures down about 0.57%, 1976. Good morning, Jeremy. Bitcoin, I think that's kind of the elephant in the room. Everyone wants to talk about 34,445. I guess everyone is kind of trading the fact that the ETF is imminent. Why is the Bitcoin ETF imminent, or why is that even important? Let's say you still have Bitcoin from back in the day. Even if you don't, that's okay. We're still going to talk about it. And quietly, very, very quietly, just on a year-to-date basis, again, who else is talking about Bitcoin? Not many. Not earlier this year. 77%. 77% this year. That's showing a lot of risk on right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at least of the charts together. This is Bitcoin spot. This is courtesy of Koifin. You can see just based on a couple lines on a 3-year basis, we did break out of some resistance right around that 33,000 level. We are now at 34,345. Where does it get rather interesting? If we can sustain above 35,000, that's kind of that line in the sand that confirms this breakout, and now we'll have a gap to fill below. Imagine that. If you can hold 35,000 through a sustained period where you're not breaking down below the support of 30,000, let's just call it 30,800. If you kind of stay above that level, 47,000 is your next resistance. And we could see here kind of the head and shoulder setup finally broke down, kind of checked out a little bit, and you could see that we hit a high RSI back in January of this year with that big pop, and we continue a little higher. So the last time we had an RSI pop this high, it created the next leg higher. That was right around what price? Right around 23,000. So Bitcoin is something that we need to watch. How do we trade it? Again, you can always use Riot, you can always use Mara, you can always use Coinbase in terms of options. You also have futures as well, Bitcoin futures if that's more your thing. Let's go and take a look at Riot this morning at $10.84. It did death cross for a second. Now it's bouncing. Very, very important. If we can get that 50 to bounce above the 200-day, it still stays in that golden cross. The last time we had that golden cross was in March. How much did it soar? From $6 to $20. So if we can at least hold that golden cross, we may go ahead and go a little higher with Bitcoin as well. So taking a look at Riot on the daily, if we're about 1084, we don't have many gaps. We have one at 13. Maybe we want to get above, where exactly? Maybe this resistance here around 12, 1150. Not the best setup. Let's take a look at Mara. Mara is something that we have traded many times this year, playing this Bitcoin run up. Again, the silent assassin that is Bitcoin. Again, we need to get, we do have a death cross here, so we need to get this up again, the 50-day. And really, it's going to have to be based on the daily, maybe $10.60, about 60 cents more. It's a breakout on the hourly, which is nice. We did break my alert about 975. So again, this thing can really reverse rather quickly. So we want to be very careful. I'm going to go ahead and be a little conservative this go around. Let's put it at $10.66. If we get there, I'll take a look at the $12 calls. That'd be our next resistance on the 4-hour. So again, I'd be a little more comfortable trading Mara options instead of trying to trade Bitcoin on the open market. I'd rather just own it instead. Take a look at Coinbase. Very key level that we had before. This is the resistance back in March. What's that level here? I'm going to go ahead and extend it to the right. Oh man, did I do that wrong? Let's see. There you go. So we'll go here and we'll extend it to the right. And that's going to be our target. That's going to be the level that we want. We just want to break above the March highs. 85.46, we're above the 200-day. But again, this is just a 4-hour. So let's go in the daily and kind of give us a little more of a view. Good news on Coinbase. The 50 is above the 200-day. It's not in a death cross the way Mara and Riot are. So see some consolidation here on Coinbase. We want to get above 85.46. Pretty darn close. We're not there yet. We'll see what the options market has in terms of volume for it. But those are the three proxies that I'm watching for Bitcoin. As an alternative, you can also do Bitcoin futures. And of course, you can always just buy and hold or own Bitcoin as long as you want. That's pretty much the easier bet in terms of ease. You don't have to put too much thought into it. But 34,423, is that something where I want to go ahead and actually run out and buy today? No, and the reason I say that is because you have this gap to fill here right around, we'll call it 31.5. So again, if you get that retest there, that will not be something that's too surprising, just technical the way it is. And if you retest that, and again, if you hold above 31,000, 38, 30,800, now you're looking at a possible new range. You're talking about the January to April range of 2022. If we can stay around there, 47,000. Now the question needs to be for all the traders out there who are looking at Bitcoin down the line, if you're looking for a boom. The way I see it is this: what price does Bitcoin need to get for people to get excited about the asset again? And it looks like probably that round number theory is probably what, 50K? Maybe 47,000? Do you think you'd see a lot more Instagram posts, a lot more social media posts on Bitcoin if that's the case? Probably. Those are your hints. Are we starting to get to that point where people start getting interested again? Through the holiday season, possibly. Who knows? Probably be a tough conversation at the Thanksgiving table about Bitcoin. Here we go, Bitcoin again, just like in 2018, 2019, and all that. So always fun conversations. So when people start asking you about Bitcoin again, just regular people who have no idea about the markets or don't really follow, that should be your hint that things may either get a little too frothy or the excitement is already building, because we know how parabolic Bitcoin can be. It's your job to want to be on top of it if you're looking for opportunities. Excuse me. Morning, Dad. Could we take a look at Palantir? They have a lot of Bitcoin exposure. Yep, you asked me this morning, Nick. We're talking about Palantir, and Palantir, the way I see it, yes, they have Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And I love Palantir. Everyone knows this. The thing with Palantir is that it's an AI direct company. So anything with AI or anything that related, it's going to get a boost. The second thing is cybersecurity. So I don't put too much emphasis on Bitcoin in terms of Palantir or their exposure, because you could say the same about PayPal. You could say the same about Tesla. I don't know if Elon still has Bitcoin, or you can say the same thing about Block. So, I mean, they are proxies possibly, but I think you stick with the main three, Riot, Mara, and Coinbase. And I think that's going to be the best correlation you're going to get to Bitcoin if you just want to get some exposure in terms of trading it. Now, again, it doesn't have to be up. You can also do puts if you want to fill that downside gap on on Bitcoin. You're probably looking at futures market. We'll take a look at it together. But in terms of Palantir, we know the level we're looking for. It's 1719. If we can get above there, I'm taking a look at the 1850 calls. Let's take a look at Bitcoin futures together. Bitcoin futures did not death cross, thank God. The 20 is above the 100. That's nice. Breakout. I mean, what more can we say? And again, if we're just basing on the Fibonacci retracement levels, I think I have to redo it here. Let's go ahead and remove this. And I'm going to go ahead and activate the fib. Put it right there. And I'm going to go ahead and activate. I think I can move it higher. No, it just moves the whole thing. So let's put this here. Let's fix this. Edit properties. You know what? We're going to redo it. How's that? Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, I got you here for a little longer than usual, or later than usual. But I know Bitcoin's on everyone's mind. And then we're going to wrap it up when it comes to, we'll wrap up the day, excuse me, to talk about options and what I'm looking at for today. We did trade Apple yesterday, and we took out Tesla yesterday, puts. Apple calls, Tesla puts, and we also did futures, so well done. If we're looking at the 50% retracement, we're looking at 42,140. If we're looking at the future side, we do have a gap to fill that just filled. So let's take that out. That's this gap right here. Let's see if we break 35,717. If it does do that, then maybe we can do some micros on Bitcoin futures. Have a little fun with it. Maybe. There's always opportunities out there, guys. Let's see what we get. But yeah, 35,717. That's your 61.8 based on the fib level. We'll take a look and see what we get. IWM, let's take a look at it. IWM is green this morning, about $1, kind of holding on to that support there of around 166. You can see it just pretty ugly price action. You're really just trying to see if you can scrape that bottom or see if you can tag it. Very, very ugly. The actual risk is the downside of 162.81. If you're looking for more upside, yeah, you need a little more. You got to get me to at least 170 before we can even talk about IWM. If not, you'll just get a pop like we did earlier yesterday, and then we rolled over. So difficult one there. We have a lot of earnings coming up, guys. So, you know, anything like a Microsoft, I think they report today. Let's take a look at it. Let's go to earnings calendar. Let's see. We have Microsoft, Google. So we need to not trade those. Visa reports. So again, that's going to give us a little bit of the pulse of the consumer. Boeing reports. They moved higher. That was part of our watch list, but we didn't trade it. Didn't have a lot of volume. Meta's on Wednesday. So Microsoft and Alphabet, you need to be careful today because it's going to be all about earnings. So, I mean, yes, there's going to be exposure with certain tech companies, but if I were to do anything long, I would probably go futures. If we can break above 850, 14,850 on NQ, I'll possibly take a look at going long. Maybe 14.9 wouldn't confirm, but then, guys, we're beholden to earnings of Google, Alphabet, and Microsoft. So I think it's going to be one of those days where, you know, we got two this week. The Apple calls, I left a runner on it, but I took it for 30. The signal got 35%. We learned our lesson from Microsoft last week. We just got to get out. This market is not just going to give us any easy opportunities right now, because by the end of the week, we're going to know where we're going to be, more than likely. If we slice below that 200 and settle on the weekly, again, below the 200-day moving average, that's not going to be a good look. Then we're talking about 41.55 and breaking. So we need to stay above there by the end of the week. We need Microsoft to play ball. We need Visa to play ball. We need Meta to play ball. We need Alphabet to play ball, Microsoft, all those guys. They need to show us that earnings are still strong. Coca-Cola did okay. Verizon had a good call. I mean, AT&T, remember, they reported too. They had a good call as well. So things are starting to open up pretty much at the right time, kind of similar to the 2022 October where we hit that low and the malaise was at its peak. Everyone thought the world was ending. Again, take it day by day. Today seems like more of an observation day. I know, boring, but we need to see if we get any moves. This might be a lot of positioning ahead of this earnings report. Maybe some people are going to try to get some exposure to Microsoft, Google, maybe start hedging for some puts. Who knows? But doesn't mean that we need to risk our capital to test any kind of theory. What we need to do is look for high quality setups, high probability setups with time, and know our risk, define our risk, know our time frame, and get the hell out of it as soon as we can. Even if it's not 40%, at this point, I don't give a damn. 30%, I'll take it. No problem. I don't want what happened to us last week again. So we need to focus on that, kind of just hitting them as quick as we can, and keep pushing every day. That's kind of the deal. Again, guys, sorry about being late today. My computer literally froze at 9 a.m., but glad to be with you. Again, I'm glad to be doing this every day for y'all. This is important to talk about every single day. Glad to have you here on the Morning Note. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Ask any of your questions on the comment section. I'll be happy to answer. Have a great day. I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully on time. See you guys later. Happy Tuesday.